Hey, Jamar!
Coach D.
Check it out. Do I look different? I look different, huh? Not only is everybody but like, dude, I'm in Washington now.
Man, I think you look great, but all I can see is a black screen right now. How are you?
Hey, man. Let's welcome the whole Vested community real quick. There we go.
Vested, what's up?
We're here to inspire, create, and empower, and this is my boy Jamar. Jamar, how are you, my friend?
You know, Coach D, I'm awesome, man. But I don't see you. Are you there? I hear you, but I don't see you.
I'm here, bro.
Hey,
next week we're gonna have we'll have a full-on studio type looking.
You know,
rad, man. So everybody bear with us, Vested. But this week we have an incredible guest for you. We have a professional on the show this week, Jamar. He's a golfer on the PGA Tour, and you know what? He's in the middle of it. So tell us a little bit about how you think this is going to play out when it comes to our theme about being in the game, Jamar.
Well, it's always an honor to have people participate and be a part of Vested. And you know how we roll. We like to shine light in the universe. And it's always great to connect with other people who are shining their light in the universe. So when you introduced that we're going to have this guest today, and we talked about, hey, you know, how focused he is in his life with multiple plates that are spinning simultaneously, right? There's a lot of people right now in life who are in the same position. So it'd be awesome to hear how he's staying focused, driven in his life during this time. So I'm looking forward to learning from this brother. So no pressure, Cameron, no pressure.
Oh, no.
Awesome. Hey, you're back. You're with me. You're back, man. I see you.
Well, look, man, this guy's a pressure cooker. I mean, Jamar, you and I are the type of people that when it comes to action sports that we try to throw fire into what we do. I know you're a spin class instructor. We're both ex-football players. We let our fire, you know, rage. This guy, on the other hand, finds a way to be able to calm himself in the most intense moments. He's able to take all of what he's working on in the very moment and be able to maximize in a single stroke, in a single swing, in a single hole, in a single weekend. So it's going to be interesting, Jamar, to hear what he's going to say when I ask him some questions from a crazy person perspective, because this guy is cooler than the other side of the pillow. Let's bring him on.
I feel it. I feel like he's so cool. I can feel like the AC coming from my screen, man.
That's my friend Cameron Tringale. That's right. Tringale. That's where we're doing that. I heard a lot of different names. How are you, my friend? How are you?
Doing well. Thanks, guys, for having me. You like
What's
my
up,
1999 headphones I've got going on?
The crazy part is they work better than my $400 Bose headphones. They were echoing and they were skipping. So yeah, I love your headphones. Plug them in and get it done, baby.
Exactly. You always trust the cord.
Yeah.
Hey, it's all good, man. Hey, you know what? We got to get Bose as one of your sponsors out there, baby. Get you some Bose.
That's right.
Little plugins.
Get me on the Bryson DeChambeau program.
So better conduct. All right, Cameron. Well, listen. So you're a pro golfer and everything, but that's not where we start. Okay, we're interested in the man that occupies the profession, the man that is the father, the man that started off as a boy with some dreams. Okay. Now, on this show, we inspire, we create, and we empower. But before we do that, let's introduce the community to who you are right now, what you're doing right now, and let us in on a couple of weeks that you're currently experiencing and what comes next.
Yeah, sure. Well, like you guys said so eloquently, I'm a golfer on the PGA Tour, and currently towards the end of our season, our golf season runs October through September. And so right now I'm on a 3-week break between the last tournament I played and the first round of the playoffs, which I'm going to be heading to in about a week and a half. So I am here in South Florida where I live with my wife, beautiful wife, and 1-year-old. And I'm enjoying rest, some training, time with family, just regrouping before a big push at the towards the end of the year for our playoffs.
Okay,
Wow.
I can tell I got a lot to learn here, Cameron. You and I do things completely differently. I'm a wildfire, and you're the wind that puts me out. So I'm excited to figure out how this all works, man. Because the way that your mind must tick. Let's do this. Let's inspire. What do you think, Jamal? Bring it down.
Hey, let's do it. Let's talk about some inspiration.
Good. I mean, might as well.
Oh, it's coming.
I was afraid for a second. Got lost. I'm glad we found it.
Yeah.
Cameron, okay, so where did this begin? Okay, so who put the golf clubs in your hand? At what point did you say, hey, man, I'm pretty good at this? And when did you start taking it real serious in this way that I don't quite understand that we're going to get into later? So kick me off, man. When you were a kid, where did this begin? Where did the love start?
Yeah, well, I mean, as a kid, I grew up in Southern California, and I think I tried just about every sport before I tried golf, because golf was considered to be pretty lame, in all honesty, down in Orange County. And I think you guys maybe could understand that. It looks like, Jamar, it looks like you were a linebacker, and I can't tell what position D played, but I mean, you guys were in cool sports.
Yeah, running back, linebacker, I played football. And somebody handed me a golf club once, and boy, that's when I started to look real ridiculous, man.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, golf's certainly not a game that I pursued. It sort of found me, I think. I have a brother who's a year and a half older, and a younger sister. But my brother and I were very close. We did everything together, still do a ton, living of our lives together. And we were big skateboarders, and my dad was worried we'd end up with the wrong crowd. So he tried to kind of steer us into other things, and golf became one of those things that we would do as a family, my dad, brother, and I, just to kind of spend time together. And this was 1997. So there was a cat named Tiger Woods. I don't know if you guys have heard of him, but he won the Masters in 1997. Historic win, and probably one of the most important tournaments of our lifetime. But basically what that did was it created a bit of an atmosphere around golf, at least in my mind. I was like, oh, if this Tiger Woods guy seems to be pretty cool, I guess golf's maybe socially acceptable. And so my brother and I just sort of dove in, and we started, like most kids, just trying to hit the ball like Happy Gilmore. We were just go to the driving range, smack it as hard as we could, and we really continued the other sports we're in. We're in a competitive hockey club team. We played soccer, and golf was just something we did on the weekends until I sort of got interested in clubs. And I mean, golf there's such a variety of types of clubs, and the equipment is a big part of the game. And I began to be intrigued by the various types of equipment. So lo and behold, for one of my birthdays, I think it was my 11th birthday, or 12th birthday, my grandma went and got me a set of custom fit clubs. And the guy at the fitting office was either a really good salesman, or he knew what he was talking about. And he told my grandma, hey, this kid's got a really natural swing. And my grandma was just the most amazing woman. She was so encouraging. She's like, oh, my grandson's natural at this. We gotta support him. So she got me the clubs. She helped encourage me to pursue the game. And my brother and I both sort of took it up and got more serious at about the same time. And I don't know if you guys have siblings, but there's one thing you want to do, and that's beat your brother. So we always had good matches, and really that escalated into just a love of the game and a passion for the game, and something about it kind of always kept me coming back.
Cameron, you said something that is a hot word, and I want to scratch it real quick before we move on. You said socially acceptable. So at one point, this sport that you were playing, at least the way that you viewed it, it was not socially acceptable. So if you found yourself in an emotional place where you might have been feeling that way and the sport kind of helped align you with something to do or a purpose or something like that, tell me how you found the motivation or the inspiration to be able to utilize that feeling of maybe being an outcast to want to get better at what you enjoy.
Yeah, I mean, I certainly didn't. I didn't mean it wasn't accepted per se. It was not cool. Golf was not a sport that got you attention from girls, which most teenage kids, myself included, that's pretty much what I was interested in. So the reality was golf was just, I mean, baseball, basketball, the sports you watched, you saw on TV, the guys who were getting varsity letters in high schools, those were more of the sports that were mainstream. And so golf really spoke to me in a way that was about working hard, working for yourself. Like all the team sports that I played growing up, you could play a great game and not win, and your team could still lose. And there was just something that didn't sit right with me. I mean, I was very, I was 12, 13 when I kind of really started to focus on golf as my main sport. And that was one thing about the game was if you work hard, if you put in the time, you can improve, and it's all up to you. So win, you get all the glory, all the praise. You lose, you can't blame your teammates. You just sucked, and that's okay. But I love just the responsibility that the game puts on you in a way, not just in the way that it challenges you and it tests you in a way that is very unique in sports. And that's what spoke to me. So, man, I don't know if that answered your question, Damien.
100%.
Well, I got a question, though, because you said something. You said, I didn't find golf. Golf found me, right? And how many people out there are trying to find that purpose? I was just talking to someone, a friend of mine recently, where not everyone understands their purpose, right? Not everyone finds their purpose. And I think that our purpose can change during different seasons of our life. But for you right now, you found this purpose. Obviously, you know you have a purpose with what you're doing at this moment in time in your life. But I want to talk about grandma, man. Yeah. Grandma sounds like she was, grandmas are super special. Grandma sounds like she was someone that was a very special person, not just that she was your grandma, but to have in your life at that time when you were starting this launch into this new potential, right, hobby, and she supported you. How do you think it would have ended if grandma would have crushed your dreams instead of flaming the fire at that time?
I wouldn't be talking to you. I would. I really have no idea. My grandma truly was super unique and special and holds this very special place in my heart. But I would probably be doing. I have no idea where my life would be, but I can tell you this: my grandma probably is more responsible for where I am today than almost anyone else.
Wow!
Because I came. My parents divorced when I was young. We didn't have we weren't members of the country club. We did not have the resources to really pursue golf. It's an expensive game. And I mean, we weren't struggling for meals. We weren't, down and out, but we didn't have a surplus. And so my grandma and grandpa had done well, and they really thought, if this is something he wants to pursue, we need to support him. And that was financially, that was emotionally, that was physically going to tournaments and traveling with me throughout junior golf. So she really created the space and then helped, push me into and give my brother and I opportunities that we probably wouldn't have had just through our parents, because, why not keep playing soccer? That was like $12 a year to play on the team. So she doesn't probably get enough credit, but that's the truth of it.
Well, grandma sounds like a catalyst, man.
She certainly was.
We saying, Coach D?
I'll say, it sounds like her, Jamar. It sounds like we're moving into create.
Yeah. Hey, let's go, baby. Let's go.
Grandma, she's inspired, and then he's golfing, and then we should create.
It's coming. It's coming. It's coming.
Okay, well, so here you are. You're golfing. Grandma's supporting you, and all of a sudden one day something happens. You're in the lead, or maybe you lose, and something clicks inside of you, and you're like, "Wait a minute. I'm either really good, or I just access something inside of me that recognizes that I can be really good." So maybe the guy that sold me the golf clubs was onto something. Tell me about that time when you decided to create yourself as a professional, or as a golfer that is elite, because it's different than just going golfing with dad and brother. At what point did you kind of take the step into that this is what I do?
Yeah, it was a great question. It was really the early years of high school where my parents encouraged me to really pursue golf at a high level. And so for me, it was either work really hard at golf, try and get a scholarship for college, with the hope of, if it goes well, potentially trying to turn pro and have this be my profession. But I really didn't think that far in advance. I mean, as a kid, you're kind of, I had the dream, right, of being a pro golfer, but I was also very practical in my thinking of, okay, if I get really good at golf and I get a free ride for college or a partial ride or whatever, that's worth a lot more than $8.99 job at Subway, which is what some of my friends were doing, working their way in high school. And I think working hard is certainly a trait that's important in my family. And so my parents, I'm so grateful, they realized, oh, John and Cameron can get an education through golf. Let's do that. So, I mean, I really took it in chunks. Like, as I look back, my focus was, let's make the high school team. Oh, you're pretty good for your age and you're pretty late to the game. Maybe you can go to college. Okay, college is on the radar. Then I got to college, proud Georgia Tech, Ramblin' Wreck. And then it was like, oh, well, if I do well in college against my peers, then those people have progressed on. Maybe that could be me. So I really just looked at the next step. And I think while the goal and the dream was always there, I was also realistic about, it's great to dream, but I need to do the work. I need to make sure I'm, making my high school team before I think about turning pro.
Jamar, this is where I become back. Okay, this is where I got to get him, because I do everything backwards. I was a Hall of Fame football player that had houses in different places. Like, I did everything totally backwards. I mean, I probably played on junior pro football teams, and like, I had it all set up, man. I had jets and helicopters and all kind of things, man. So to me, when you sit here and you say I didn't look that far in advance, I would like to challenge you to, is that what you do in golf? I mean, do you take one stroke at a time? Do you take one hole at a time? And when that's, with that being said, what do you do going into a lead, and how do you maintain that that balance of staying intensely focused, but at the same time not looking past the next stroke?
Yeah, well, I think it's really important to have your goals, have the things that are motivating you, the things that you're working so hard for and towards. But there's a difference between performing and competition and being distracted by the dreams, because, again, maybe this is just how I think, but you have to go out and execute every day in the sport that I play. If you do not execute, you're gone. You don't make the cut. You forget about being in the lead. Like, you don't even have a tee time on Saturday. So I think the way I see it is, I'm really more focused on what's in front of me. And I think that's been how I've played and tried to have my career, while at the same time knowing in weeks like this week, next week when I'm training, okay, big picture, I've got some goals here. I am working hard to try and get to, the golf Super Bowl, so to speak, the top 30, the FedEx Cup. So, like, I have that motivates me. I'm really focused on working on my skills, but when that tee goes in the ground on the first hole in New Jersey, which is where I'm playing next, like that's the only thing that matters. You learn from the past. You try and be as consumed with the process of each shot as you can. You learn from it, and then you're looking ahead to the next shot.
Wow. Man, when you look at this here, right, how we're talking about the whole point is how you've been able to stay driven in your professional life, your personal life. And as you're talking to us, we're starting to see the ebb and the flow of your profession, right? Damien and I don't know what it's like to be a professional golfer. Most of our audience, the Vested community, don't know what it's like. Where what we see when we watch the golf game, right, the game of golf, we see that the most intense moment. But the other moments may not be as intense, but you said a key word. You said, but I got to execute every moment. So how do you stay driven to execute? Because like you said, if you don't execute, you're out. Like, how do you stay in that moment though, of just keep staying laser focused and executing?
Well, I think for my sport, for golf, is you have to have a process. You have to have a routine, something that is sort of like your menu, the steps that you go through to perform each shot. And so that's something that I learned, fortunately, at a pretty young age with golf. I've had some great coaches and great support on my teams, and we've developed a process that helps me start and end each shot that I take. And so how do I stay driven towards that? I know that what's most important is executing the steps of my process, because that's what I can control. I can't really control the outcome of the shot. I can't control if someone else shoots a lower score than me. I'm really only responsible, and in my better moments, focus, that's where I live when I'm playing my best golf. Is here are my steps. I'm going to execute my steps. I'm going to do them to the best of my ability, and then I'm going to let the result go and enjoy the process. And I think in golf, doing that as much as you can, one shot at a time, one hole at a time. You hear that so much, it's cliche, but that's really the way forward. And that's how the best people in the world, as far as I know, are doing.
Cameron, okay.
Man.
I'm following you, but I'm still stuck. That's all great and everything, because I've read the books, okay? I've gone to the seminars. Damn, I'm an executive coach, okay? So I understand what you're talking about, but I'm talking about what happens when you just shank one, man. Like,
it's happened.
You know what I mean? You have this plan that I'm gonna win the tournament. I'm gonna make the top 30. You get up there, you're all woo. You know what I mean? Then what do you do from there, man? Where does the creation come from? I mean, you're inspired to be this golfer, and here you are. You're on the PGA Tour, and then you just get up there, and the plan fails, man. Because a lot of people right now in the vested community and our lives and stuff, we try these new things, right? And we're thinking that it's passion, and it just fails, man. And we know that we should be doing these things, but what do you do when you don't see the light through the trees, man? What do you do when you got to get out of a bunker and you're already like 4 or 5 back, man? Like, how do you keep going, dude? Like, what do you do when the plan fails?
Wow. Good question.
Well, I know your question's not about how to get out of a bunker, so I won't give you a lesson. But honestly, I think for me, acceptance is a huge part of what I do. And I think what any person has to accept is you're human. You're not a robot. You're not going to play perfectly. You're not going to speak perfectly. You're not going to write a perfect book. Everything we do is flawed in some way. And so I'm learning to learn. I say learning because I'm certainly not a poster boy for this, but I'm trying to learn to accept the things that happen more readily and show myself more grace, because I'm trying. Like, when I get out there and the fit hits the sham and you're not where you want to be, it's really easy to be critical. The self-talk becomes negative, and the reality is I'm trying my best. That's really all anyone can ask. And yeah, acceptance is huge. And I think the thing about acceptance is, and at least from I think in a golf standpoint, but this probably would work elsewhere, is you have to accept before the outcome is known. And I think that posture of acceptance is really what I'm talking about. Not just, I shanked one, I'm in the trees now. Okay, I'll accept that because I'm not perfect. Yes, but you can't really do that purely if you're too tied to that outcome. So I think accepting the outcome before you even make the swing is really where the power comes. And I think it's that posture.
Wow.
Accept the outcome before you make the swing.
Man.
Hey,
come on, baby. Coach D.
Can we move to empowerment?
Let's go. I got some. Wait, before we go, I got a question, though. Because I got a question, Coach D, before we go. You got a moment? Because we've been talking all about the flow, right? The flow of the profession and building up to this point. But we're still in the create section for a moment here. And word on the street is that you're a new dad, man. So you and your amazing wife have created a new little life, man. Yep. Talk to us real quick from the dad perspective, man. How are you staying driven in life, being a husband, being the dad, while you're kicking butt out there as a professional golfer?
Well, to be honest, that's a picture of our daughter Gia. That's my wife Tasha, and
hey, beautiful family, man.
Honestly, becoming a father was like a shot of adrenaline for my goals, for my passion, for the game, because now I have someone else to provide for. My wife and I are responsible for this life. And rewind a few years, like if I tank at golf and I never play again, like I'll live, I'll survive, not a big deal. But like if I tank now, what's going to happen for my wife, for my daughter? Well, as the provider in our financial provider in our family, like what would that look like? So I think some of those, I would say probably all new parents feel it, but just the responsibility hit me in a way that was like, dang, I got to make sure that I'm tight, because
it's game
now
time.
It's not just me anymore. And so that really reinvigorated my desire, I think, and the timing was pretty special. I think I had been on tour. This is my 12th or 13th year. So I had been playing out on the PGA Tour for 10 years. And between the travel and being away from family and just the lifestyle is pretty challenging at times, most of the time. And so, I mean, I had days where I thought, man, I don't know if I can do this anymore. And certainly having our daughter and seeing things from the perspective of, now I've got to provide for my family, has really jolted my golf enthusiasm and just my desire to perform and do well, not just for me, but for
wow, man. Well, not only did you and Tasha create a beautiful daughter, Gia, but it sounds like Gia has helped you create a laser focus in your game, man. So thank you for sharing that.
Yeah, it's really changed a huge, almost all the ways that I approach the game. Now my time is so much more valuable home. And I don't mean just with Gia, but with my wife as well. When I was a single guy, it was just me. I kind of did whatever seemed right to me and fit with my schedule and all that. Now I have to take not only my wife's considerations, but helping with our daughter. And so now I don't have all day. I used to have all day every day. Now I have limited time for training, limited time for practice, limited time for being at events. Now if I missed a cut or I have a break in my schedule, I'm on the first flight out so I can get home and see my girls. So it's tightened my focus, because now with limited time, I still need that same output. So
Right.
I've got to be more focused when I'm there. I don't have the days where I'm just out there all day, kind of hanging with the boys and practicing and playing. Like when I'm there, I'm going to get my work in, and I still play and practice with the guys. But it's different,
Man, well, thank you for sharing that, because it sounds that you knowing now that you have these other responsibilities, amazing wife, beautiful daughter, that you have to be more efficient and effective with your time. So therefore, when you're in that moment, you're maximizing every moment that you can, because now that you have other important things in your life where you have to give energy to, where you get to give energy to.
100%.
I think a lot of times too, as us as people, sometimes if we don't have that perspective that you're sharing, we can take longer to do stuff than we actually need to do it, or maybe we're not as effective because we think we have, like you said, all day, every day. Well, really we don't, right?
Yeah. I'm learning time's it's one of those, it's the only thing you can't really ever get more of it. And so our time on this planet's limited. Our life is short and uncertain. Like, we have no idea what tomorrow holds. So how do I be the best husband, father, attentive to my career, enjoy life, enjoy people? Like, how do I do that in the most efficient ways? And that's been something, that I'm still trying to figure out, but gaining on it.
Wow. Well, thank you for that, brother. Coach D, man, how you feeling?
I'm here, baby. Listen, I'd like to thank everybody at the Vested community and camera for rolling with the punches here. We're going on a fly, man, and I didn't know that there was a robbery or something on the floor below us, and the cops came and everything else, and things are blowing up. But I'm here. Everything's safe. We're Vested.
You're good, bro. That's how we pivot. We don't panic. We pivot.
We're learning, man. I don't know how they do in Washington, bro. It's something like, man, I'm an import.
Oh, man.
I'm trying.
Yeah. Awesome, man. Well, hey, go ahead. Let's talk about some empowerment, man. Let's go.
Do we do the thing? I was moving and shaking. Can we do it?
Yeah, let's go.
Do it up.
I got a question for you, man. And just know here, there's nothing that you cannot say to the Vested community here on Being Vested. Vested, just always want to remind our audience and our community, especially you as a new guest here, Vested is not about Coach D. It's not about me. It's not about tech team. Vested is a mindset, being vested in whatever it is that you're pursuing in life, having that spirit of being all in. And so that's what our message represents, Cameron, is just being vested in. And you're vested, man. You can hear how you talk about your life. But I also want to know, where do you get your empowerment from? What is your faith foundation? Do you have one? Do you rely on a supernatural power? Are you a one man, even though no pun intended, one man army out there? If it's to be, it's up to you, or do you rely on more than the natural?
Yeah, great question, and the answer is yes. I am a man of faith. I became a Christian my senior year of college at Georgia Tech, and so I have learned about a relationship with Jesus Christ and walking with Him and trying to understand his desire for my life and for how to best live it. So sort of the heart of my life is to know God better, to walk with him closer, and to honor him more in all that I do. And so how does that play out in my life? I don't see, I don't view my faith as sort of a slice of the pie, so to speak, as like, part of my life. I view it more as a lens that I look through and see every part of my life through the lens of faith and a relationship with Jesus. And so, I would say one of the things you just mentioned was shorter time. I used to spend all day at the course or whatever and not get as much done as I could. And I think that's so true, that a wise friend kind of counseled me about a year ago when Gio was born, said, your time is going to be limited. What are the 4 buckets that you want to invest in your life? Because the truth is, we can't do everything, and we're not equipped to do it all. And so this friend challenged me to kind of think, what are those areas for you? And I would say faith and our church life at home is number 1, and that again is sort of everything kind of has that in it. But then the other pillars: family, my career, and then fun. I think life is such a gift. You might as well have fun while you're doing it, while you're living it. And so those are really the buckets: family, my career, and then fun. And we love to travel, our family, even though we do it so much for golf, we still love to explore new places. So I really kind of think about when I'm being asked, if I have requests or whatever, it's like, all right, does this fit into one of these buckets? And if the answer is no, then the answer is probably no. Like,
wow.
Is it contributing to my family life, to my job, or is it something like that we want to do for fun, to enjoy the sweetness of life? And if it's not, then I'm out.
Man, hey, that's a mic drop right there, man.
I was saying, questions, bro. Like, that was, yes, sir.
Mike, boom.
Okay, then let's do this. Let's review a little bit. Okay, so what we usually try to do is get people to this point where in the empowerment section we say, okay, everything that you are, your failures, your successes, your front page newspaper articles, and the time where nobody remembered your name, weave it all together and explain to us how we can give our vested community a little something to take from us. So what we just heard was 4 different buckets. And you said if they don't fit into those 4 buckets, then they probably aren't. It's probably not a yes. And there's no probably, because you're not a professional golfer on the PGA Tour that finds balance in his life to just kick back and hang out with the family in the middle of probably the most intense part of your career, maybe of your life, and has a cool way of doing it. So let's try to share with everybody, since you just gave them, an idea about how to go about it with the 4 buckets. How do you stay so cool, man, while it happens? So you have these buckets, you have this strategy, you shank the putt, and there you are. You're pissed off, man. How do you empower a life of being a good father and a good husband and a great golfer and a good person? How do you empower from the place of just being so frustrated, man, that you don't know what to do with yourself? Because I know you hit those points. You have to.
Yeah. I mean, in one word, I'd say grace. Really, just we're not as important as we think we are. And whether you're on, I'm so lucky to get to play on the PGA Tour, and when I miss a shot, it could have significant consequences, or if I hit a great shot, significant upside for my life and my family. But really, we're humans. We're not perfect. Life is sweet. Enjoy it. Give yourself grace. Give others grace. Like, seek the truth. And I just don't think you can go wrong with being gracious, living graciously.
Bro, Coach D, I just got his nickname, bro. I just got it. You ready, guys? Kevin, you ready for your nickname?
Let's hear it.
Zen-tensity, bro. You're Zen-tensity. That's your, not intensity, bro. You're Zen-tensity. That's how beast mode you are. Is you're like intense in the Zen state. And man, that you laid so many powerful nuggets today in such a graceful way. Speaking of grace,
one of the things I do sometimes when I'm playing is I'll have a verse that I memorize or that I'm working to memorize and kind of focus on. And one that has been on my mind lately is about the one who controls his spirit is mightier than the one who takes cities, meaning in battle. And so controlling your spirit, controlling your anger, controlling the bombs that go off inside of us. Like I said, there's got to be grace, there's got to be acceptance. And, that's really the harder thing. It's easy to get pissed off. Everyone gets pissed off, myself included. That's easy. That's natural. And that's what's expected. What is not expected is to accept. So that's one of the ways that I try and live differently. And I'm not perfect at it, but that's definitely a place I'm setting my sights as that's where I want to be. I want to be working towards someone who's more gracious and more accepting of myself in life.
Wow. Man, that's powerful, bro.
I mean, that's yes. Okay, listen, Jamar. I mean, look, I want to do something real quick because I think I might have one thing where I might be able to get them. I just want a rapid fire. I want a free association with like a couple of different things. I'm just going to throw them out there. I'm going to ask you a question, and then you're just going to say this is in relation to this question. Okay, so my would be that you're going to apply grace, right? So let's do this. Okay, Cameron, what? Okay, now not what do you believe in? Okay, what do you believe in association with your family? Go.
Time.
Okay. What do you believe in association with your career?
Learning.
What do you believe in association with your faith?
Grace.
There we go.
Cameron, what do you believe when you look in the mirror?
I believe I'm a work in progress and one who is greatly loved by the one who made me. And I think that I am just incredibly blessed to know him, to walk with him, to have been told of his goodness. And really that's where I find my rest and my contentment. It's not from good golf. My contentment and my identity most come from my relationship with Christ. And I think that really is the mic drop for me. Like you said, Jamar, earlier, like that's where the bucks, starts and ends, and everything else just isn't really that important. In the grand scheme of things, compared to that, the rest is just gravy.
Okay, man, Cameron, you ready for this? I got a heater coming down the middle. I know we're not talking baseball, but bro, this is coming hot.
Okay.
Coach D has his own personal relationship with the creator of the universe. I have my own personal relationship, and you have yours.
Mm-hmm.
How would you empower someone who may not be on that frequency or don't believe or not yet? How would you empower someone who is searching? How would you empower someone who really may not believe what we would believe? How would you empower that person?
Gosh, I guess I would say just keep searching, keep asking questions, keep being curious. I think that's really how that was my personal experience. Is I was around people who believed, and I heard their testimony. I just heard like there's something different there, and I just kind of kept asking questions until I got to a place of better understanding. And really, I would say, seek and you will find. If you're really curious to find answers, I think they can be found. Not every answer will be found. Disclaimer: we don't know it all. We don't have all the answers, but I think there are enough value. There are enough answers that someone who is genuinely trying to figure out what this life and this world and how this all fits together can find the answers if they are looking. So,
wow.
And I think that's it.
Man.
Jamar, D. I have nothing left for this man.
Man, hey, he just went yard on us, right?
That was follow you with your career from the rest of the year, and I mean, throw out some TikTok-y Instagram stuff, man. We want to follow your career. The Vested community wants to follow your career. How can we do that?
Yeah, that's a fun picture. That was from my wife's favorite place is the Bahamas on the planet. So we went there before BG, before Gia, and that's called like Pig Beach or something. And we got to feed the little pigs.
Oh, little pig, look at them.
But anyway, you can follow me on Instagram at CamTring, I think, and I'm pretty sure that's it. And on Twitter, I think the same at CamTring or at CamTringale, one of those two.
Awesome, man. Brother, Coach D, what else you got for him, man?
Listen, man, like I said, I got to roll forward with the gratitude, man. I had a lot of people help me this week. The superhero wife that's doing tech team right now, she's currently trying to throw together an apartment. We just drove all the way across the United States. I'd like to thank her from the bottom of my heart.
Tech team! Woo, woo.
Constantly be an absolute all-star. But there's some others, man. I'd like to thank Crispin Woods, Elise Collins. I would also like to thank my family, the Minute family, for everybody coming by and putting in what they could. There's a lot of different people, man, that really helped us out a lot, man. Stephanie Joyce, I really appreciate your help. I mean, I feel like I won an Academy Award because of how happy I am that we actually got here. And Cameron, brother, listen, I don't have much else for you, man. Like, this is I feel like what the whole world needs right now, what our vested community needs right now. And I'm going to be straight with you, brother. This is what I need right now, to hear you respond with so much grace in every question that I ask you without ever faltering, man. I wish you the same grace in every shot that you take for the rest of the year, man. I know you have it in you. I believe in you. I was following you on television. I don't watch golf, man. I'm not a patient person, bro. But listen, going into that last round, man, I believe, bro. I need you to believe in yourself too, man. I think you've got what it takes to be somebody really special because you already are, man. So thank you.
That's how it happens. You get one little taste, and then you get a second, and next thing you know, you'll be going to Top Golf or something.
Come on.
Hey, get it, brother. Jamar.
Yeah.
That's my question, brother.
Hey, man, before I wrap it up, I'm going to say a quick power prayer. Thank you, God, for this day. Thank you, God, for brother Coach D and tech team. And we're going to lift up Cameron, his entire career, for ginormous victories, God, beyond what he can even imagine. Momentum, favor beyond favor, blessings and protection over his family. For this man. Amen. Hey, we just go straight to the altar right there, Cam. It don't matter where we're at, anytime, any place, anywhere. Vested community, I want to tell you, we love you. Thank you for hanging with us. As you guys know, Coach D and tech team moved from California to Washington, and they're now just getting rocking and rolling in their new state of residence, focusing on the mushroom farm. So, Coach D, thank you for being flexible and agile during your transition to the next chapter, new chapter. But Vested community, you heard Cameron today. He gave us such a zenful taste of staying driven. And what you noticed today, and I don't know if you saw, but this brother is grounded. He's grounded in his life, and he knows what he's focused on. He's focused on his family. He's focused on his faith. He's focused on his career, and he's focused on having fun. And that's how he's staying driven. And he's process oriented, and he's laser focused on executing in each moment that he has, and not leaning on the result, but accepting whatever that result may be once he executes. So I just want to thank him today for being here. Invest community. We all can shine light in the world. Whatever you're doing, whether it's golf, whether it's running a business, being the CEO of the house with your 5 children, whatever you're doing out there, whatever you're doing, here's the question. Are you vested?